over the break, news had came out, and I've talked about this maybe even ad nauseum at this point. About the UFC and losing. I think what they shouldn't be losing talent and some of the decisions that they're making, maybe being tightwads with their wallet. But before I get into it, I want to make sure for maybe some of the newer fans, and this isn't like disrespect or anything like that, and I understand, but I want to explain kind of how sports work as a whole. ESPN is what's considered the marquee. If your sport isn't on ESPN, you're basically JV. You know what I mean? If you're an elite sport, ESPN gives you coverage. That's what you hope to gain, right? UFC is fairly new to ESPN. And if you think that I'm wrong about that, try previous 10 years, try naming a hockey player when they lost their contract. ESPN is the absolute varsity of sports. And when you get there, that means that, and I think Dana White has done a phenomenal job getting to this point and creating the UFC where it is. And I think it's, the sky is the limit for this sport. It's going to be, probably eventually number 2 to football. Football will always be king, probably. But with that being said, news had sprinkled out there that Francis potentially, may not get re-upped. I don't know if it's a money issue or what the case may be. And I think maybe there's a lot of contingencies that hold over the rafters on whether or not he wins his next fight versus Gane. And things like this I don't like. And again, I'm not saying that. I've always said this. I don't think that the UFC should become what boxing did, where all the money went to the fighters and then it just destroyed the sport. If you didn't have Mayweather on the card, no one's watching. And if it isn't Mayweather or one of the 3 boxers you may be able to name off the top of your head, you don't know any of the boxers. It's a marketing travesty when you do that. But how many? So if we lost Francis in a 2-year look back, how many champs would we have? Former champs would we have lost? We had Triple C, we had Nurmagomedov, and then that would be Francis. These are guys in their absolute prime. But make no mistake about it, just because he doesn't hold the proverbial belt right now, that's your champion. That's the guy to beat at this point. And I think it's time that, the UFC's not poor. They're not broke. And if these champions or these fighters at the elite level, they want to, ask for a little bit more money or a little bit more, whatever it is that they want, I think it's okay to give it to them. Not saying you got to give them the whole, you don't have to give them the motley here, but I think it's okay to open the pocketbook a little bit and make some of these guys happy. Because when you lose people in their prime, or they're willing to just walk away from the sport in their prime, that is a problem. And the UFC is not. They are still in their infancy at what they're doing. So you really can't afford that, especially with some of these other things that are popping up. Albeit, I think Khabib's thing is like Eagle Fang or whatever the hell it's called. I mean, I think it's silly. But, Jake Paul's definitely someone you got to worry about. There's other people that have rose up. If you lose top talent to these, other cards, it's possible that they could overtake you or get on your level. You don't want that. You don't want division, right, in the sport. I don't want an AL and NL type of thing. I want it to just be the UFC.